The presentation that I have is basically what I call a pre-business plan. And then I must acknowledge that there's a lot of input from Dr. Pramod Dhakal, who is actually the leader of this particular initiative, and Dr. Drona Rasali, who is a team member. We call ourselves as the core proponent team because you always need some core. For anything to do, you need champions and you need core. And Pramod is a leader, we three are the core. Of course, I will kind of go ahead and discuss the institutional arrangement that takes place on how the NRNA and the whole system is in place. Okay, so basically I would like to give maybe an outline of the pre-business plan. That's what I'm calling it, pre-business plan. I want to highlight the structure of the Open University of Nepal, and then identify potential international funding opportunities, identify potential domestic funding opportunities, outline some fundraising patterns and some ideas, and then formulate the steps necessary for collaborative approach with the government of Nepal. That's something that I want to discuss a little more. And then delineate the next steps towards establishing OUN. So it's a kind of start, but you have to start at some place. So this is something that I pulled out these days of the Google. It's interesting. Three people are standing and this guy is blank. So these two people are saying, it's not enough to just to show up. You have to have a business plan. Even to beg looks like you need a business plan. And in some ways, it's kind of more, I guess, graceful and more dignified begging, but we need to beg at some point. So the Open University of Nepal, as you know, is such a preliminary, pre-preliminary type of phase that we heard something this morning, and I just wanted to kind of highlight some of those issues. Okay. So the Non-Resident Nepalese Association through SKI, chaired by Rajuji, that is very easy to remember because it sounds like ski, and especially people from Canada and so on can very easily remember that. That is the skills, knowledge, innovation exchange, pretty high sound, between Nepal and the diaspora. CFFN Canada, which is chaired by our own Pramod, nobody else. And like somebody was reminding this morning, he doesn't take a no for an answer. So basically, you kind of agree to him when he asks you to do something. And that's another partner based in Canada. It's a non-profit. The co-proponent team, Dr. Dhakal, Dr. Adhikari, and Dr. Rasali, three of ourselves. Government of Nepal through Education Ministry. As you know, because of the huge turmoil right now with the government of Nepal, we could not really get people. We had a couple of people that were lined up. But as we speak, things were changing, and we heard this morning that the terms of the Constituent Assembly, which is the interim parliament, has been kind of, there's an agreement to extend that. Actually, Dr. Sharma gave me the news. So that gives us some level of stability, but that's beyond the scope right now. But we do have connection and contacts already with the Education Ministry. As a matter of fact, up to the last moment, the Minister of Education was on standby to come down and to kind of participate with us. The Nepali partners are going to be universities, non-profits, and other organizations. As we'll go later on, sometimes there's an apprehension of the existing universities. What is going to happen if there's an open university? Is there going to be competition? Are they going to be taking some of the resources from us? As a matter of fact, many of the studies that we have begun to study have shown that actually it's complementary. If you have an open university, many people will end up going to the other university. So it's a win-win. Then there are international partners. We have already begun a very important partnership, at least the initial establishment of communication with Athabasca University, and he was so kind. President of such a large university taking 2 days of time to come and spend time with us. We are so grateful. And the larger Nepali diaspora, of course, and as we had Dr. Renu Khator and the whole the high-level people from University of Houston, that already gives us some milieu to start that partnership process. How is the structure going to take place? Basically, that's the government of Nepal that gives the legal authority. As a matter of fact, it's one of the projects that's already identified by the Ministry of Education. So, a lot of database, a lot of thinking. The last 10 years, they have put the Open University of Nepal into the system of thinking in Nepal. So, the diaspora is basically trying to support that initiative. It's not we are creating a demand, we are just saying that you need this in Nepal. Nepal government has already decided they need it, and we are there to help them and kind of support them. And these are the other partners, the Institution of Distance and On-Site Education, non-profits. That's the Canada Foundation for Nepal, which will do support in the externalizing in Canada and the USA. And then of course, the Non-Resident Nepalese Association will try to do the external collaboration, fundraising, volunteer distant faculty, and probably some of our own billionaires, like Dr. Sarma was mentioning this before. Actually, I was thinking that if you sat next to a billionaire, and their sons are billionaire, their relatives are billionaire, did some of it rub off on you? Not that you did, but so that's going to be the other wheel. And if you pick that place where all of those wheels cross, that's our initiative. That's where we want to kind of position ourselves. How is it going to be arranged institutionally? We envision the government of Nepal will be an owner of this particular enterprise. As we've heard already in the morning, that by the nature of it, it's not really a profit-making entity. Open University are kind of trying to cater to people who do not have access to education. And very often these are public services. And government, like Adhikari is also supported by government. And so is the first Open University in England was supported by government. Governments are in a very, very good position to provide this kind of service to the people who cannot really fend for themselves, who cannot really go into the regular type of university. So we envision the government would be the owner. The Non-Resident Nepalese Association would be a partner. That level of partnership would have to be discussed. CFF and Canada, the Canada Foundation for Nepal, will be a partner. We do want a Canadian-based partner in this particular scheme because it's very important to kind of mobilize the resources and funding from Canada and also North America. And then international financing institutions and domestic partners. As a matter of fact, we have already begun dialogue with the World Bank and Asian Development Bank and some of the people that we already know through our diaspora network and also the network that we have built. We've received a letter from the ADB that this is something that they might be, that's the Asian Development Bank in Manila, that this is a project that there might be a lot of interest in supporting, especially when it's kind of endorsed by the government of Nepal. So in terms of the funding, and they've got lots of experience in supporting educational organizations and institutions. So this is the basic framework. Of course, it needs to be defined. So ownership, partnership, and then of course the financing and so on. At the center of it all is the OUN. This will be an acronym that will become quite famous.